Okay, I pressed record.
Fakakta Comedy Funhouse Network. Welcome to Couch Pilots, all of my friends. It's the show that dares to fly into the unknown territory of awful television pilots of the past. My name is Jason, a.k.a. the Black Minstrel, and across from me is Captain Philip Restisher, my good buddy and yours. Evening, Captain.
Good evening. Did you say call myself the Black Minstrel Cycle?
Minstrel, like an old-timey, like if you go to the Old English Fair.
Oh, okay.
You got that?
Yeah, I understood now.
Sometimes,
I thought you were talking about menstruation.
Sometimes menstruation can look black, though. Blood can look very dark.
Sure.
It's scary. I'd be terrified if that ever happened to me.
Oh.
But, I mean, it's funny that you ask because every week I give my AKA. It's always the same.
Right.
People always have called me the Black Minstrel, and this week is no different.
Sure.
So
I'm excited for this flight. I love when we go up in the crisp autumn air, and I'm just really enjoying it. I had a phone call earlier that I want to talk to you about. Now, we talked in a couple past. I like how you tilt your head like Rory when I start talking.
Well, usually I'm not interested in what you're saying.
Sure. Oh,
and
you're not the first or the last.
My spine is perpendicular to the ground.
Sure.
But then when you do spark my interest, which is very rare, I tilt my head to the side.
Right.
And so you know I'm listening.
Sure. Well, we were in talks a couple of episodes ago in regards to the new airplane.
Yes.
And we were talking to the folks from Milli Vanilli, the one folk.
Right.
Because they were trying to move around some assets and,
Yeah, loosen up some funds. Get a little bit more liquid finances, right?
Sure. And it looked like that deal was going to go down.
Yeah.
But before you got here, before you got to the captain's lounge, I was on the phone with the president of the United States. And you're probably like, how did you get a hold of the president of the United States?
You can tell me I don't believe you, but go ahead.
Okay, well, here's what happened. So DSJ is like, I heard you guys are looking into getting a new plane.
Yeah, I talked. In between him delivering me snacks one evening, I did come up in conversation.
Right, sure. And he's like, I know a guy. And I'm like, well, we almost got this deal done with Milli Vanilli. He's like, no, I know this guy. You should get a hold of him.
All right.
He's looking to sell his plane.
Sure, yeah.
So
nothing is set in stone with Milli Vanilli.
No, I didn't sign it. We didn't sign anything.
I mean, if everything goes right, then the price that we pitched out there to them, they'll accept the offer, and we'll get a nice new plane, and we can sell the other one back to Judas Priest.
Right.
But our eyes are always open. We're never going to say no to an opportunity. We'll investigate it.
Sure. Any good entrepreneur never says no to.
Absolutely.
So he gave me a number. And he said, when you call, ask for Air Force One.
Okay. So
All right.
Air Force One I think of as the plane that presidents ride in, or the number one hit by Nelly.
No, this is the plane. Mm-hmm. So I called the number, and it said, password, please. And I said, Air Force One. And all of a sudden, and it was President Barack Obama answered.
No.
And I said, this is Captain Philip Restisher from Couch Pilots.
Yeah. I'm sure he knew exactly what you're talking
about.
about.
I said, my friend DSJ gave me this number. Is this really the president? And he's like, I can't do a very good Barack Obama.
Did you ask him some questions, though, to make him prove that he was the president?
Oh, no, I just believed him.
Oh, okay.
So, but he was like, yeah, he was the, what do you call the guy that leads?
Proprietor.
No, call the guy that leads the parade, or the
lame duck.
The famous person in every parade. There's
the Hallmark.
No.
I know what you're talking about. The guy.
Grand Marshal.
Yes.
He was the Grand Marshal of this year's Special Olympics.
The president was?
Yeah, and he got to know DSJ really well.
Really?
I know, it's crazy.
How come this never came up before?
I know. DSJ very rarely talks about his life. The way we find stuff out is so crazy, like the girlfriend thing.
It's usually through his tattoos. Like if he's got a new tattoo, like, hey, what's this about? And then he regales us with this very detailed story.
Sure.
But.
So I said, hey, we're in the market for a used plane. Mm-hmm. Our fan base is growing larger and larger.
We got this world tour that we're doing. It's coming up soon. So, we have to ride in style.
Sure,
right?
Sure. And he said, well, my term is about up. And what people don't know is there's a new Air Force One every time there's a new president. So
I didn't know that.
The president leaving office gets to keep their Air Force One.
Wow. Huh.
And he said, I'm not going to use it. What am I going to use it for?
He's an Amtrak guy.
Oh, he loves Amtrak. He's from Chicago.
He's from Chicago. When he did all of his campaigning, it was Amtrak.
Yeah, just like Abraham Lincoln.
Just like Lincoln. And Lincoln, actually, he was instrumental in building the same tracks that he rode on when he was, yeah.
Because Abraham Lincoln was like, I've got to get out to Arizona to meet the people. Mm-hmm. Let's build some railroad tracks.
Very famously, they would call him Iron Abe, the steel driving man.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. The song made after him.
I think there was, yeah.
So, I said, hey, Air Force One's a pretty intense, piece of machinery.
All the security, yeah, I can imagine.
All the bells and whistles. I said, all I need is a place to put our black box and to put our pachinko machine.
Right.
And it doesn't run on any electricity. We just have to have room for it because it's rather large. And he says, I tell you what, you can keep all the bells and whistles. I'll give you 2 of my stewardesses.
He's just given that when he's done in office. He said, you can have
He's kind of like throwing it in.
Wow, okay.
And he gave me a number. It was a little bit above our budget. I understand how huge the plane is. I mean,
sure.
You can't even see it on satellite. I slid across the table another number to him.
Oh, at this point, you're face to face.
Well, no, we were on Skype. So
Oh.
I slid the piece of paper in front of the screen.
Okay, gotcha.
And he said yes. So,
wow.
Come November, we're going to be using Air Force One, Obama version.
Hold on.
It's done deal.
It's done deal.
I'm sorry, I should have talked to you first.
I trust your judgment implicitly.
It's Air Force
I have
One.
to.
It's Air Force One. I mean, we've flown fighter pilots. Mm-hmm. We've flown Red Baron airplanes.
Yeah, well, the kind that Snoopy would ride in, right, with Woodstock.
Right. We have flown jets, Lear jets for famous people.
Yeah, we have those remote control ones we do for fun. We have little drones.
Like the drones.
Oh, yeah, they're a blast.
Drones, don't need no drones, don't want no
This
drones.
show is built on the back of his songs.
So, yeah, in November, we will be, all of our episodes will be from the cockpit of Air Force One.
I can't wait till come November. That's incredible. I'm super excited. Any Milli Vanilli, have you already alerted them? Do they know?
Yeah, I talked to Vanilli, I think. And I said,
this is how I remember vanilla. People often describe my skin tone as vanilla.
You're alive.
And I'm alive. That's how I remember.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I talked to them and just said, hey, see you later. I said, see you later.
Kind of left them hanging, but you know what? We hadn't committed. We were just going in. We were in negotiations.
It's a cutthroat business. It's a cutthroat business.
It really is. And are we going to use their stewardesses? Because it sounds to me like they're slaves, indentured servitude. Can we sell the stewardesses for a little?
Well, I think we'll ask them if they're interested in doing some flights with us.
Sure.
And if they like it, they can stay. If they don't, we'll buy them 1.5 acres and they can live their life.
Give them a mule too.
Well, I mean, come on.
I know. I'm just based on what I know about indentured servitude.
Ladies and gentlemen, the captains have turned on the fasten seatbelt sign.
Oh my god, I'm sweating from so much banter.
It's exciting. It is
exciting.
There's a lot of stuff we're gonna have to take some training courses because there's a lot of the security system in that plane is unlike anything we've ever. I mean,
we're using DOS right now.
Sure. Yeah, it's the best.
And I think they're on Windows XP.
I think Windows 7.
Great.
That's my favorite one.
Yeah, they're going to force us to do that upgrade, though.
That's true.
Whatever.
Well, he said we'd have to pay for the upgrade.
Ugh, I thought that was a free upgrade.
Well, it's a free upgrade, except we won't get it until November.
Yes.
And it runs out.
You're right. Damn it. Loopholes. How'd he become president? Why would we ever elect a black man to be president? Found a loophole, right?
Exactly.
Smart guy. Smart black man.
He was old compared to what he did when he came in office.
It's been 8 years. Takes a toll on a man, right?
His wife, though, still looking good. She doesn't seem to be. She's not Barbara Bush in it at all.
Barbara Bush. Good-looking woman, Michelle Obama. Love her. Usually we talk a lot. You don't like that, huh? I'm drinking Chocolate Bunny craft beer. You do not care for that. Back to the Miller Lite? Or what is that? What is that? Is it Miller Lite?
No, it's Mountain Dew.
Oh, I'm sorry. Either way.
6 in one, half a dozen of another.
Anyway. Those cans look identical.
Digress.
Couch Pilots. What's all that about? Couch Pilots, the show where Captain Philip Restisher and we get on, I was going to say, Couch Pilots, the SS Couch Pilots.
Right. But right now we're still using that until November.
Soon to be Air Force One, former Air Force One. You and I will be soaring through the skies, watching failed pilots, reporting back to all of our frequent flyers, like we always do, like we'll do until the end of time.
I don't foresee this podcast ever getting canceled.
When will time end? I mean, the sun's going to explode someday, right? It's going to explode or implode, and then our solar system, as we know it, will become defunct.
Right.
And we can't sustain life here. When will time for human beings end, and ultimately this podcast?
I give it 1,000,000 years.
Yeah, I think that's about right. Yeah. I think that's exactly right. Today we discuss the pilot episode of Life Twirls On from the year of our Lord 2015.
Wow, it's right up behind us.
Great year. It was right behind us. Great year.
Yeah, it wasn't a bad year. I'll take it. I've had worse years.
Usually you're quick to agree with me. What would keep this from being good from great?
Well, it's just so recent. You really can't look back on a year and say whether it was great or not until you've experienced life after it.
How long does it take for you to completely gestate a year to determine how great it is?
1 million years.
1 million years.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds about right. This is the part of the show where we think about the year in which the pilot was released, and we give you highlights from popular culture, news events, movies, songs, all the things that can put you back in that mindset, turn the clock back. In this case, just a year.
Just one click.
One click.
Can we do it real quick?
Hit it. Thanks.
There you go.
The pachinko machine works just that easy. There's a knob for everything. That's what I always say about the pachinko machine.
Yep, there's a knob for everything.
And just real quickly, the pachinko machine, of course, being the non-electrical machine that we use here at Couch Pilots HQ to calculate everything that comes into our show. Any information, whether it's sharing the show, the downloads, frequent flyer points, it's all put into the pachinko machine. Yeah, tweets, everything.
Facebook messages.
Yeah, emails. Yeah. Salami sandwiches.
I love a good salami sandwich.
You put salami, you put a provolone, you put some mustard, bada bing, bada boom.
Is that Italian? Provolone?
Bada bing, bada boom is Italian. Suge Knight.
He's Suge wrong.
If it ain't Suge Knight, it ain't Suge right. Arrested for Moida.
Shade.
Moida. What, Shade Knight?
No, that's just something people say. They say shade.
Oh, Sade, I think it's pronounced.
Oh, okay. Sade. Suge Knight gets arrested for murder. Which murder did he actually get in trouble for?
It's kind of like O.J. Simpson, right?
Right.
He totally cut his ex-wife's head off.
Totally.
He severed it clean off. Didn't go to jail for that. He went to jail 10 years later, whatever it was.
For kidnapping a guy in regards to, like, sports memorabilia.
Yeah, sports memorabilia as it pertained to him, which he probably gave away or sold at some point and just wanted back and maybe couldn't get his hands on.
Poor decisions.
Right.
You know, once you get not guilty on a murder rap,
yeah,
you pretty much think you can do whatever you want.
And then so did he.
And guess what?
He did not. He could not.
Nope.
And that's what that was. I think that was retribution for... They said, you know what? If we make O.J. Simpson guilty, the streets of L.A. will run red with the blood of the white man.
Right. I think this is a lot like in like football and basketball when refs make a bad call. Later on, they make makeup calls.
Yep.
And I think that's what happened with O.J.
And that's what Suge Knight, of course, just a mountain of a man, former record mogul. Right? I don't think Death Row's got a lot of action in the past 15 years or so.
No.
But
ironically, death row, he got put for murder. That's just crazy. It's like he foresaw it.
Yeah, he's fulfilling his own prophecy, self-fulfilling. So it's just a string of crimes and misdemeanors that he probably got away with.
Yeah.
And now it all came. He stepped over the line. He ran over the wrong person. Wasn't that what it was? He ran over a guy.
Yeah, I think so.
Jesus.
The guy probably owed him $30 or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah. What a man would do for
Suge?
Don't disrespect him.
Who? Suge?
Suge, don't disrespect him. He'll come at you with his SUV.
How can he come at me now?
Well, I mean, okay.
He's probably got people. He's probably got people on the outside.
I'm glad you said that because I was just about to give you full license to disrespect him.
Oh, no, because he's got people on the outside.
Okay.
When Suge listens to this, and he will, because he has nothing else to do.
It all gets back to him.
Right. He's probably working out or something. You got the earbuds in at the prison, and you're like, oh, I want to hear a good podcast. And everybody's like, listen to this Couch Pods. They talk about you. I'll tag him in it. I'll tag Suge Knight in this.
Probably not a great idea, but yeah. Okay. He hung Vanilla Ice over a balcony, right? Wasn't that lore?
Yeah, I heard that.
Oh, Ice.
Baby?
Leonard Nimoy passes away.
Ooh.
The first episode we did, the first pilot that we watched was Baffled starring Leonard Nimoy.
R.I.P.
Yep. Rest in piss. That's a shame, right?
I mean, everybody dies.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he wasn't very old, was he? How old was he?
105.
Oh, then, more. He deserved to die.
He hit the century mark. I know that for certain.
You can't live that long. Modern medicine has led us to live super long lives. My grandmother reminds me of that all the time. She's the oldest of her family, and that modern medicine is keeping her alive, but yet she wants to die. And I keep saying, well, then don't take the medicine.
If you really wanted to die, Grandma.
Yeah, that blood pressure medicine and that diabetic medicine, just don't take it.
We can all choose when to die, right? We've talked about that before.
There's 6 million ways to die. Choose one.
Bruce Jenner chose to be a woman. Bruce Jenner, former greatest athlete alive from the Olympics in the 1970s, now Caitlyn Jenner, a man with a penis, or a woman with a penis, rather.
Right. This confuses me. I think everybody is, be what you want to be. I don't care if you're gay, straight, trans, whatever. But when you live your life into your 60s as a man, and it's never come up before, and then all of a sudden you're like, you know what?
Now's the time.
I have been wanting to be a woman all my life. And that confuses me. I'm like, how can like, oh, well, he was just in denial. And, well, modern technology, modern medicine didn't allow... If you're 60-some years already, just stay a man. If you want to dress up like a woman and tuck your dick in your, and duct tape it to your butt cheek.
I think he stuffs everything right in his butthole, is how I understand it.
Well, that's fine.
Yeah, I'm fine with it, yeah.
But you don't have to have a surgery or change your name, do you?
Well, he did do both of those things. I think the surgery
was... He did the top half, right?
Does he have boobs?
I think so. He took, estrogen.
So he has boobs, but then he also, shaved bone off of his jaw and his Adam's apple, I think.
Right, yeah.
I don't know. As far as I'm concerned, he's still a man, right?
Oh,
whatever chromosome.
What a man.
What a mighty good woman. David Letterman, final show for late night.
Now, this was one of the toughest things you've ever experienced in your life.
Right.
I mean, you've dealt with a lot of tragedy in your life.
I've dealt, my it's just a laundry list of tragedies in my life.
But this one, I remember holding you.
Right.
Last year about this time.
I have a list. I mean, it's the same list in which I put my laundry on, and I put all the dates on there, and it's a spreadsheet, is what it is. And I can organize it however I want. Numerically, chronologically, it's closer now, obviously, since it was just last year than anything. But if I put it in severity, top of the list.
Really?
That was really difficult for me. I love David.
One of the things about David Letterman that I liked was that he was very, very helpful to a lot of independence roots music artists.
He loved Sturgill Simpson, right?
Yeah, Sturgill Simpson. He had Justin Townes Earl on before. Jason Isabel's been on there many times, and these were guys before they became such household names.
Sure, that's probably the only thing that you like about David Letterman, if I had to guess, right?
Yeah, I didn't think it was that funny.
he did love himself some roots music or some country boys, some old country boys. Loved Willie Nelson, all that stuff, and it showed.
Well, he's Indiana boy, right? He's from Indiana?
Indiana boy from those Indiana Nights, that's right. 2015, how old were you
40.
That year, 40 years old.
40 years old. Hold on.
You got it.
34.
It's 34. Still, currently 34.
How is that possible?
Wait. When does this get released?
Oh,
Yes, I am 34 years old.
Yes, for 10 more days.
That's correct. So current age. I've hit my current age at this point. How exciting is that?
Did you think that we would ever get to this point?
I would hope not. I hope that we did not. I know that IBWIP, 10 years, never not been canceled once. It's only been canceled by your own hand, right? No one's come to us and said you're canceled on Couch Pilots. I wish that they would.
Why? Why do you wish they would? Do you not have fun with me?
I have a great time with you. I miss my shows Monday night. I miss The Big Bang Theory. You know, I miss Mike and Molly.
Mike and Molly got canceled.
I'm so upset that it got canceled. I'm missing Survivor. I'm missing Survivor Series. You know, I'm missing a series of unfortunate events.
I'm missing I'm a Survivor.
Yeah, I miss all those things Monday night, but I do it for you.
Oh,
I do it for our frequent flyers.
that's what I think you should put them before me.
I was doing it in order of severity.
Okay.
Why did we choose to watch Life Twirls On? I feel like I know the answer to it already, but I really want to know why we chose it.
Well, there are 3 criteria when we choose a failed pilot. First, it had to never go to series. Just one episode was made, whether it was aired or not. There was only one episode made. This, perfect. Okay, one for one. Are you taking it all off? Or what?
I'm just taking off my sweatshirt. It's hot in here.
It's getting hot in here. Number 2.
How many Nelly references can we make?
This is the most we've ever made.
2.
The second one would have to be, we had to be able to find it. I mean, we've heard about it, but we have to be able to find it.
What good is a pilot to watch
if it can't be found?
Can't find it?
And Foreshadow, that's coming up here pretty soon.
It's coming up.
And screw you guys.
Uh-oh.
It's just going to be us watching it.
Yep, that's right. I actually have that all written out already.
Oh. Sorry.
No, that's fine.
And the third one, of course, will be, it had to be free, because we're not paying for this shit. Most of the stuff we watch is horrible, and we're not paying for it.
There's no chance I would pay monies for this. I already pay money to get the podcast up and going. Why would I pay money to watch the shows?
Right. And an asterisk is it's in the 2000 teens.
And this may be the last season of Couch Pilots that we can say that. Right? Because in the future, we're not going to confine ourselves maybe to a certain decade like we have in the past. Our first 10 episodes are from the 70s, the second from the 80s and 90s and aughts and so on. But now that we've hit current times,
we got free reign to do whatever we want.
We got to get our fingers.
We got to totally freestyle this.
Yeah, we got to get our thumb and our index finger back on the pachinko machine and click it all the way back to the 1950s.
Wow.
And then back and forth. We're going to be all over the map after this. So this is kind of like a last season of typical Couch Pilots before things just go off the rail.
We're going to be blowing it up.
It's going to get nuts. Where can you find awful Life Twirls On? You can find the entire...
Is that the name of the episode? What's the name of the pilot?
Life Twirls On.
Oh, okay. I thought I misunderstood.
Nope, that's exactly what I said. You can find the entire episode by subscribing to Couch Pilots in iTunes or your favorite podcast app of choice, and then click on one of our classically blue links in our show notes. Or you can go to YouTube and search Life Twirls On Pilot. Life Twirls On, such a particular and exact series of words that it's the only thing that'll pop up. I will say, though, if you go and subscribe to our show, it'll be in our show notes, and then look for the classically blue. Go get your color wheel out, set it to classically blue, put it against your phone or your computer screen, and you'll see the link that I'm talking about, and you'll know it's safe. It's classically blue because you're digitally protected by the Couch Pilots.
Right, and just remember, for new listeners, when we put our show notes up, pardon me for one moment, please.
Oh, my God.
When we put up our show notes, we will have a link to the pilot of the show that we're watching, and we'll have a link to the pilot for next week so you can get back on track.
Yeah.
So if you're new, you're going to catch up real fast.
Mm-hmm. And here, here's even a little bit more of an inside tip. If you follow us on Twitter, you'll get to see what I'm tweeting out to some of the stars, the writers, creators, directors of these pilots, and you'll know even further in advance what's coming down the pike.
What's our Twitter handle?
Our Twitter is CouchPilotsPod. Check us out, follow us. Again, sometimes we reach out to the stars, and once in a while, they reach back.
Flight attendants, prepare for takeoff, please.
DSJ. Is that a Presidential Medal of Freedom he's got there?
Well, he's still wearing his Special Olympic gold medal.
Great.
But he was all nonchalant about it, because I saw him today, because I always get to the captain's lounge like 6 hours before our flight.
Yeah.
I pace around a lot.
You're very nervous, Nelly.
Sure. And he was there, and I was like, why didn't you tell me it was the President of the United States? Mm-hmm. And he's like, well, I didn't want you to be nervous.
Well, he knows you, doesn't he? Like the back of his tattooed hand.
Sure.
And, of course, DSJ, for everyone who doesn't know, maybe some of our first-time listeners, it's John. Tarmac John, the man on the runway himself with those golden cones, waving us in, waving us out. Really, the heart of the show, I would say.
Definitely. I think if we've had to take flights before without him.
Scary as hell.
I was scared to death.
I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. Summary of the pilot. 3 grown sisters who share the last name Brown are suddenly forced to move in together after the most successful sister has a nervous breakdown from ending a one-day marriage.
I've been married 3 times.
Any of them last just one day?
No. I mean, one lasted a year.
Okay.
So I feel as though I'm 364 days more advanced than this person.
Yeah, I think if you made a pilot about that situation, it would be 364 times likely to have succeeded over this.
Could be. Are you ever going to get married, do you think? Or do you foresee that as just like, no, that's not going to happen?
Marriage is something that we made up that is unnecessary and ties people together legally. It makes it very difficult for them to separate if they choose to do so.
That's true.
I'm a man of commitment.
Commonwealth.
And I'm a man of commonwealth.
All right.
And there is I don't need that. Why can't I just love somebody? Just let me love.
And I talked to Molly about that when that's a very expensive helmet he's wearing. Why is he wearing a helmet on a plane?
Young Eli is prepared no matter what happens. Is he a Boy Scout?
Well, that was a baseball helmet that's Under Armour.
No, I think that was a Boy Scout helmet.
It could be a Boy Scout helmet. His head's going to grow bigger in the next 6 months.
Camouflage.
Anyway, let's continue. We have a beautiful stewardess, but she's about to get replaced by those 2 from the President's Air Force One.
We'll see what happens. You were telling a story.
Well, I can't finish the story now.
Fair enough. Interesting facts.
This is This is the segment that causes the most controversy.
I mean, we're talking about marriage, right?
Love and marriage,
this show is built on the back of his songs.
Go together like a horse and carriage. This, I tell you, brother, you can't have one without legal representation.
I don't know if that's how it ends.
Oh.
I know that I would watch Married with Children for years, and I can't believe they got that Sinatra song, the rights to that. What a terrible show to put what a wonderful song by a golden voice angel like Frank.
But I think by this time in life, I mean, Frank was just like, take it, just give me the money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I'm going to take the money and run. His glory days are past him.
Go on, take the money and run.
Interesting facts. It's built castles and it's crumbled nations.
Crumbled them.
It's a very divisive part of the show where we take a look behind the curtain of the pilot we're discussing and give you interesting facts, things you may not know just from watching it. We scour the internet with our scouring 409 scrub pads, and we see what we can unearth, and we polish them up. We do a little spit shine,
Ending.
and they wipe it with our little interesting fat cloth, and we present them to you, our frequent flyers.
We've even been known to use a Mr. Clean eraser thing.
We're sponsored by 409 Scrub Pad, so I didn't want to mention Mr. Clean, but you're absolutely right. I don't want to negate that.
Sure.
The thing about interesting facts and why it's so divisive is that when we unearth these facts, we don't add anything to them. We don't sprinkle them with anything. We present them to you as we find them, and we don't comment on them. We do you that honor. And we expect the same from our audience.
Yeah, we don't want to hear anybody tell us that they thought the fact was interesting or...
That's just the name of the segment.
It's strictly for cosmetic purposes only.
Right.
So if we read these facts off to you and you're like, oh, that is interesting.
Think it all day.
Think it all day, every day.
Yeah.
But don't tell us.
Don't tell us. Don't say it out loud.
Definitely don't tweet us or put it on our Facebook page.
I don't want to see that. I've got too much to deal with already. I don't need to babysit your ass. Release date, May 8th, 2015. It was released on Facebook. It was not aired on television. It was released on Facebook.
Was it made for Facebook?
No. This was made, I'll say it was written, directed, and stars and fully funded by Kenya Moore from The Real Housewives of Atlanta. And since Kenya owned the show, she could do what she likes with it. And so she put it on YouTube, among places. But she created this, I believe, to kind of show off her acting chops, if that exists.
Okay.
And she said, she fully funded this, directed, did everything. So she owned it, and she shopped it around. No takers.
Not even the WWE?
Not even the WWWWB. But she did put it on Facebook for all to see. WWWC.
WWE, that's all, folks.
Filming locations, Atlanta, Georgia.
Of course, because she's a real housewife.
Of Hotlanta, that's right. Kenya Moore was served with a lawsuit from Janet Hubert, who was hired to play the role of Kenya's mother. I don't think that's right. Hubert announced that she had filed a lawsuit against Kenya for non-payment. Hubert, mainly known for being the original Aunt Viv on The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
She was the aunt.
She was the aunt. So this interesting fact is slightly skewed, but we've corrected it with our knowledge. She played the aunt, Aunt Lorraine, I believe. You're very good about the names, is that correct?
I do believe so.
Did you watch Fresh Prince of Bel-Air?
Just because it was on the television.
I think that's where I was with it, too.
Yeah, it didn't really resonate.
There's some.
I
we
all
thought there was
know
good
the
stuff.
Carlton and the Charleston Chew. We all know that stuff.
Yeah. I love Charleston cheese. I miss the original Aunt Viv when they switched over, because as a child and pre-internet, you don't know the reasons. Things that, rumors spread, and you can find out why someone left was a contract dispute, or maybe didn't get along behind the scenes. But you didn't know that back then.
Sure.
You just know one season ended, and the next one began with someone different.
Right.
And
that happened a lot back in the day.
Dick Sargent, I Dream of Jeannie, right?
So Janet didn't get her money, is what she's saying.
No, she didn't get her money, apparently, and she sued Kenya Moore, creator of the show.
She's one of the best actresses in this show.
She is, yeah. She's a seasoned professional, but also she might be a pot stirrer, because I think that's why she was let go from the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, because she wanted too much money or something. She sounds like a real handful to me.
Well, it's possible.
There's a part of the show we don't do every week. That's the end of Interesting Facts, by the way.
Okay.
Not a lot of facts this week, but they're all true. I guarantee that. Next part of the show, Twitter responses.
Love this new segment.
I love any time we can do it. We can't always do it. We're humble podcasters. We don't ask for anything other than interesting tidbits or fun information from a show, and we do that often when deciding what show we're going to watch. We get out there, we get a little bit ahead of it and say, hey, you created this, you starred in it, you directed it, you wrote it. Anything interesting you'd like to share, because we're going to talk about it.
Sure.
They can't stop us from talking about it.
Oh, no.
But they can definitely put their 2 cents in.
And the more 2 cents they put in, the more expensive in life this is going to be.
Yeah, you got 2 cents and you're going to get 4. Then you get 6 cents, right? Just like Bruce Willis had, right?
Oh.
M. Night Shyamalan.
That's the one that touched little boys.
Right.
Is that right?
Yeah. M. Night Shyamalan and Bruce Willis would touch boys and get the 6 cents. That's correct. That's how they got it. We reached out to the stars and the creators of Life Twirls On, and one of them reached back.
Okay.
And this I might be most happy. Well, maybe Kenya Moore, the creator. I mean, she probably had the most insight.
And I think she probably didn't respond to us because of the litigation. She probably couldn't.
There's probably pending litigation.
Sure.
Because this was only a year ago.
Right.
And those things stretch on
Not
forever.
even a year. Well, yeah, all over a year.
So we reached out to the youngest sister on the show. Her name was Megan Brown. And it was played by Adrienne Ray. Beautiful young lady.
Beautiful.
And what we say to them is, hey, this is the Couch Pilots. We're going to talk about your show. This is what the show's about. Mm-hmm. Anything you want to add? And she says, you know what? During the scene where there was the wedding, which was pretty much the beginning, and it was a little bits of flashback in between the show, she said it was freezing cold when we shot the wedding scene, like water fountains with icicles freezing.
Oh, my. In Atlanta?
That's what I'm thinking. Atlanta, that's crazy.
Man, they picked the wrong time. Kenya picked the wrong time to film this.
That's right.
I was expecting to be like, it was hot as a muff.
Yeah, that's how they sound. They being Atlanteans. And then she also had something else to say. She says, "Oh, and Leon's line, and put those gifts back, completely improv, LOL." Probably the funniest part of the show, I would say.
One of the funniest. There's one more that was funny, but yeah, that was definitely a good line.
We'll talk about that in a moment. But thank you so much, Adrienne Ray, for getting back to the Couch Pilots and putting
beautiful
your 2
young
cents
lady.
in. She really is very beautiful.
She was gorgeous.
She's a model. She's
a model?
She is a model as well.
Now, can you? Because so if you guys have tweeted each other a couple of times, that means you guys are best friends.
You know what? I don't like to label things, but yes.
Do you think you could get her phone number for us?
You mean like I haven't already?
Oh.
Swish. High five it. Okay. We have a lot to talk about, including the entire plot of the show. But we're going to do that right after a quick message from one of our favorite shows, the song Inside and Out. Ever wonder what inspired a songwriter to pen your favorite song? How did they come up with that cool chord progression? Or even how they got into playing music in the first place? Join the podcasting god, Amen, Blake Clayton, as he talks to the prolific songwriters in roots music to talk about the song Inside and Out. Join us every other Tuesday at fcfnetwork.com for the song Inside and Out. Also available on iTunes.
Drink away your night.
Who was that who sang that?
Drunken Cuddle.
And did you ever interview them for the show?
Yeah, I interviewed Eric.
Okay.
They were just here like a couple weeks ago.
And you don't mean like here in the same town as you. You mean inside of your house, right?
Right. Yeah. No. They spent the night. They had a day off during their tour, and this was like the halfway point in between. And they're like, "Hey, let's go hang out." Had a great time. Mew Jacob came over.
Nice.
He got drunk.
Doesn't sound like him at all.
He drank whiskey, but we just chilled out. It was really nice. Normally when you get rock and roll people here, you're up until wee hours of the morning. Everybody's playing music and drinking, and there's sex and stuff going on.
Nice.
But they just came over, and Katie had some wood burning crafts to do. Eric just hung out on our couch, chilled, and we had a good time.
That's awesome. And those are firsthand experiences that you have with these bands, and also interviews you have with these bands on the song Inside Out. So definitely go to fcfnetwork.com and check out that show. Yeah,
we have got 20 episodes out there. We have 20 episodes out there right now. We haven't done one in a while, but we're going to be starting it up in probably in January. We're going to be starting that.
Yeah, just like Game of Thrones, winter is coming, right?
Right, just like there is a
young Eli has a
wood burning from Katie.
Very cool. Very cool.
Very cool.
Let's get into the plot of the show.
Let's get into
Life
it.
Twirls On. I got to tell you, right from the beginning, I do not like the name of this show. This is a bad name.
Yeah,
Twirls.
It doesn't roll off your tongue.
It does not. It's choppy in the mouth.
And part of me was like, I didn't understand what the twirls came from.
Right.
Was it the twirling of the hair? Because she had long, straight hair. It was wavy. So
nothing to twirl there.
She wasn't a dancer. Like if it was one of the Pussycat Dolls or something,
right?
That would make sense. So I didn't understand it. It threw me off.
When I think of twirling, I think of dancing too. And there's hardly any dancing, if any at all.
I don't remember any.
Show starts with a woman that we find out later is Kenya narrating the show about her lavish wedding, her wedding day, something she's been looking forward to forever. And she says, I'm a virgin at 30 years old. You got even though it's classical music being playing, it's like a record scratch. Right. And then she's like, okay, I'm a 35-year-old virgin. Scratches again, and then she finally concedes.
The orchestra gets up and she's like, okay, come back. And she was kind of pandering.
Mm-hmm.
At the beginning, I thought.
Right.
But she was, trying to give a little bit of backstory, I guess, and to set the tone for the show.
Sure.
You only got 28 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
You got to do however you can, show some visual, but yet have some narration. We'll see narration in a couple weeks on another show we're going to do.
Absolutely. And during this, we find out later that what we're seeing didn't actually happen, but it's kind of the picture-perfect version in her mind of what happened. So you've got all these characters walking down the aisle.
You have a token white guy.
Got the token white guy. And all these people she's introducing them. Oh, here's my sister. She does this. Or here's here's the groom.
Backstory.
Here's my wildly gay friend who does this.
Here's Baby Boy, my gay assistant.
Baby Boy. Which his name is Brian, is that right? And he was her assistant?
Yeah, that's what he was. Yeah.
Okay. She turns out to be a 40-year-old not virgin. Sorry, Steve Carell. you have these. And while she's introducing them, I'm like, these are very sexy black ladies. These are all very attractive.
Right up your alley.
Right up my black alley for sure.
Now, how many African American women have you been with in the bed?
In bed? That's really none of your goddamn business.
Okay, so
this is not an avenue for that.
Huh? Okay, all right. I'm just trying to help the listeners understand.
Okay. Good way to understand this pilot for sure. The narration...
Because this, I mean, and I'm sorry, but this is the first pilot that we've ever done...
Black-centric.
That's black-centric.
Yeah, I would agree with that. This is a black-centric pilot for sure. This is something you would see on the BET network. This is something you would see on... Where do you watch the Bravo? Does Bravo? Yeah. They've got the Real Housewives?
Sure.
Yeah, this is one of those shows.
I hate to interrupt. I apologize, but our stewardess looks very perplexed. I don't know if she's angry with you or if she's looking for something.
She seems to be sorting through boxes. I don't know how this is relevant to life.
Well, because if she's angry with me, I'm just going to stay on the plane.
You going to spend the night on the plane?
There's going
to be one of those nights
on the plane.
Where you get the cot out?
I just need to know. Do I need to get the cot out, or are you just perplexed?
Did I ask you to do something today?
No.
I didn't ask you to do anything today?
Uh-oh.
When you got home? Nothing? I didn't ask anything, huh?
Oh, you did, but...
Oh, yeah, now you remember?
To get boxes made. I'm sorry. I completely forgot. Oh.
Why do you let this disrupt the podcast? Why didn't you just take care of that like you were supposed to earlier?
Why didn't you let him do that?
Right. Yeah, that was my fault.
Well, I can't do anything about boxes right now. We're 10,000 feet in the air. I do apologize. It was on me, but I'm a pilot for a freaking podcast.
First, shut up. You apologized. That's the most responsible thing you can do at this point. Making excuses isn't going to get you anywhere. Right. You taking ownership was the best thing you could have done there. So I applaud you, sir.
Thank you.
You are. I feel like the short time we've known each other, you've matured so much as a person.
Really, you think so?
Well,
as much as I'm going to. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry I disrupted the flight.
I'm sorry you didn't get those boxes ready. Oh boy! So she's doing this narration. She's presenting a picture perfect wedding situation. Yep. She's laying a lot of stuff out. Kind of get the backstory, like you said, but in actuality, it was kind of a nightmare. The wedding did not go nearly as planned.
No, it did not. Now the gentleman that she was going to get married, I think his name was Henry.
Yes.
And that Henry guy, that guy that's acting there, Leon,
right?
He was in a show where he played from the Motown group.
I like that.
I'm trying to remember the Temptations. He was in the Temptations. Thank you very much.
Like that made-for-TV movie, or what is it?
Yes, the made-for-TV film. And he was also in the 5 Heartbeats, which is another like Motown.
Sure.
He was also in Cool Runnings. So know this guy knows. I mean, that's why you go by the name of Leon, because you're the shit.
He doesn't have in IMDb. He's not listed with any last name.
Leon.
Like Madonna or Cher.
Prince.
David Spade. Just like that.
Exactly. So they were high school sweethearts. Mm-hmm. He had cheated on her. 20 years later, they meet back up. He's been in the NBA for 15 years. Mm-hmm. Had to retire because of a knee injury. Right. And she's a famous person of some kind.
And we get a weird taste of that because all that stuff you just mentioned we find out. But we find out after an oddly placed commercial for More Hair. Her name is Kenya Moore. And she's got this commercial. It says it's More Hair. And it's talking about a line of hair products. And I'm looking at it, and I feel like it's shot in the same style as the rest of the show.
Right.
So I'm thinking, is this a part of the show, or since she didn't sell the pilot to someone, is she
using it to?
Yeah, using it. Say, this is where you would put a commercial. Here, it just happens to be a commercial of something that I endorse or have created, and I don't know. At this point, I have no idea. I just accept it as, it's just a commercial.
Right. The first one I just accept. Yeah. Acceptance is the key to happiness.
Oh, absolutely. But then right after that is when we start to find out all this stuff. All the bachelors and that side of the groom's side of the party, that's the wedding party, is getting ready, and they're kind of talking about the
having
past,
some drinks, Yeah,
just shooting the shit. Hey, man, sorry your life's about over, dude.
Right? You're lucky, man, because she's got money and you don't have any. You're married into some money. You're lucky.
Yeah. 15 years in the NBA. I would hope that he's got some money after 15 freaking years in the NBA. Then you go to the other side. You got all the ladies hanging out. They're kind of getting the lady
a
side.
little champagne.
Yeah, absolutely. And then they start talking about hot sex.
Right.
They say the words hot sex.
And they have, in Janet
Hubert or whatever from Fresh Prince.
She's the aunt, and she's in there. She's like, wait a minute, you girls talking like, you young girls talking like this. And then she was like, basically saying that you don't give up
the cookies. They
Yes.
start making the metaphor for sex as cookies.
Mm-hmm.
And in the introduction, you learn that Kenya Moore is the oldest sister. The middle sister's name is Robin. She's kind of she's a psychologist, kind of a crunchy, hippie, gluten-free kind of lady,
Sure,
organic.
she went to college and all that stuff, and
The youngest one, and the one who reached back to us, Adrian Ray, gorgeous girl, beautiful,
just
girl.
amazing.
She really is.
Like, to be honest with you,
Yeah,
if it wasn't for her, I'm going to give a bump.
you're gonna give the Ray bump.
I'm going to give it a Ray bump.
Hey, Ray. She and we're not pandering to her because she got back to
No.
us. We genuinely do appreciate that, but she is a very beautiful woman,
Right.
and she's the youngest sister named Megan, and they paint her out to be kind of a spoiled brat, gold digger.
Oh,
And
yeah, she even, and she doesn't deny it.
no, she owns it for sure. And
So
she
I know,
says,
even watching it, I was like, I'll never have a chance with her.
no,
I don't have enough gold for her to dig.
right. Then and only then will you get with her. So everyone kind of here in this part where the woman's side, the
Hold
bride
on.
side. I'm
Before
sorry.
that, when the ladies are all talking, do you remember the line, "A bull gets cornered by the chicken"?
I think that's supposed to be a funny line that Fresh Prince of Bel-Air says to Kenya, and it doesn't make sense. It's supposed to be kind of a throwaway funny line, like, oh, no one says that. I've never heard that phrase before. Have you?
No, I never heard it either. I rewound
Okay.
it.
I fear rewinding on the internet because I feel like I'm going to lose my place, or something's going to get screwed up and I'll have to start over. So I
Yeah.
very rarely rewind when watching these.
This is then. So then, cut that scene. They have a video camera. Mm-hmm. Ray's got a video camera because she's, and she takes it and she goes in because she's looking for something blue. She didn't have
Something borrowed, something new, something
Yeah.
blue, something whatever. Yeah,
Yeah, and so she goes into the room where Leon is.
the groom.
The groom, Henry. Sorry for confusing you with names, but I figured if he has just one name as an actor, we should just go by that name. So Henry's getting ready, and she's like, "Oh, I'm looking for this," and she sets the video camera down, and she's looking fab.
She's like bending over,
Right, and so Henry's like, "Oh, I'll help you look for it." And he opens a drawer, and there's this little satin case, and she's like, "No, not that drawer." I didn't know this was her room.
I didn't know it was her room either. It looked like a den or an office.
Yeah, it
or
looked like an
something.
office. And he opens up the little pouch.
Looks like a little Crown Royal bag or something.
Right, and it was a vibrator,
Yeah, it was a little dildo.
a very
for sure.
good dilder,
Yeah.
like an expensive dilder.
It was one for the front door and a little knob for the back door.
Yeah, and she's like, "Oh my gosh!" And so she's trying to get it from him, and
What I see at this point is Henry. He goes right back to the NBA. He's this tall, lanky guy.
He's posting up.
Yeah, he's posting up with his dildo. And then she's B.J. Armstrong or Muggsy Bogues, some little basketball
Right,
player
she's-
trying to swat it out. And he's like, I got it right up here. You're not getting
and
it.
he's hand checking her. He's
Yeah.
like, "No. You don't bring that into
Right back. Right,
Just
yeah.
like McKimmy Watumbo, don't bring it into this house." And and so then Kenya walks in. It looks like the sister is reaching down at his dong because by now he's dropped it. Dropped it down to his waist because he's about to make a move.
Yeah.
he's either gonna shoot a jumper or he's gonna dribble.
That's right. That's exactly right. So
And that's-
he's totally in this NBA mindset, absolutely. And Kenya walks in at the wrong time, and it looks terrible. Even though everyone's fully clothed,
Sure.
and in actuality, they were joking around, having a little fun, but nothing sexual was happening.
Never.
But that's not what it looks like to Kenya. And this guy's already cheated on her 20 years ago in the past. She's got that in her mind, and she sees this now, and she is mortified.
She snaps, and from out of nowhere, in this den that has a vibrator that is Ray's, she whips out a knife.
I completely accepted this because if you're in a den and there just happens to be a dildo in a drawer, why wouldn't there be a knife in some
true.
other random drawer? I was ready for them to open up a cabinet and just a bunch of helium balloons to come out. I don't know.
With little smiley faces,
Sure.
like a Walmart
Absolutely.
rollback smile.
And they wink at you.
Yeah,
So I was not off put by that at all.
and she's like, "I'm gonna kill you." She didn't say which one.
No, she was going to kill everything. I
Ever,
think.
Everything.
Earthing. She's fully dressed as the bride, running with the knife, takes literally a stab, and tumbles over. And the other two are like, whoa, this is not what it seems like. And they hightail it right out of there. She's going nuts.
She's not giving them the chance. They run through the hall, and then they run down the stairs, and then she does this really dramatic fall down the stairs. And I'm like, oh, my God. She's hurt.
Between stabbing at them the first time and taking a tumble, and then down the stairs, I feel like she should have stabbed herself 7 or 8 times.
I have a pocket knife that I use when I'm camping,
right?
And every time I use it, I cut myself,
right? And that's just
a little pocket knife.
And you're a seasoned woodsman, you're a seasoned camper, and you know better.
Oh, I know better. Always away from you, not near you.
This is a woman who's been drinking champagne. This is a woman who's loosely handling a butcher knife.
Has a garter, a girdle on.
Yeah, wearing those Spanx, man. Not a scratch, not a cut on her. How did she do that?
Maybe she's an expert with a knife.
Movie magic. And, at this point, too, I will say that I'm watching the show, and it's like, hey, this show, maybe not storyline-wise, but it looks good. It's shot well.
Sure.
It's completely funded by this woman. I think it's shot well.
Probably at her house.
It really was. It probably was at her house.
Interesting fact. It was probably at her house.
Probably.
So she's like, the weddings. They run. She chases them out into the wedding party,
right?
And she, she's like, the wedding's off, and that's when Leon comes in with the improv.
Yeah. Hey, don't put those gifts back.
Right.
Everyone's they see a mad woman with a knife. People. It's mayhem. They get up and they start grabbing the presents they've got, and they ran away. And he's like, "Don't leave with the presents." I thought that was a funny line.
It was really good.
It was funny too that people were running as fast as they could with huge presents in their hands. I like that quite a bit. So she said the wedding is off. They're running away with the presents. And then you got...
another hair commercial.
And for this one, it's the exact same commercial.
Exact same. We watched the Grill?
Grill Me.
Grill Me, the game show.
Yes.
They had Honda was a sponsor.
Right.
And they had 50 Honda commercials.
1 or 2 per commercial break.
But they were all different.
They were a little... Yeah.
This is just the same exact commercial.
So I'm watching it, and I think, okay, I think this is a real commercial.
Yes.
I think this is a real commercial.
Yes.
I think this is a real commercial.
Yes.
I'm watching it, and the first thing I think is, for the second time I watch it, I think, this is a real commercial.
Probably right.
And I don't know Kenya Moore. I don't know The Real Housewives. I've never watched that show. It looks like a huge steaming pile of shit to me. I would never watch it. So I'm thinking maybe she really does have her own line of products. This is a show that she made. She's telling you where the commercial breaks are by inserting the commercial for her own products. To me, kind of a smart idea. Right,
because these commercials were probably put in after she shopped it around and nobody would take it.
Yeah.
And then went to go put it on Facebook. She's like, I'm at least going to get mine.
Yeah, let's break up the action properly like a sitcom would be, but take advantage of the time that we're breaking it up.
Yep, because this is a real hair care line.
I think if you look, it is. Oh, you've confirmed.
Yes.
I think you look up her net worth. She's worth tens of millions of dollars. And it's probably partially to marrying into it.
Sure.
But she's not a dumb lady.
No, she's a beautiful lady. She's a
beautiful and she's not dumb. I'll tell you
Milk
that much.
jugs.
That's right. Milk jugs for days, as we always say here on Couch Pilots. Commercial ends, and we pick up 2 days later, and no one has talked to Kenya. And they said it's all over the news. And I
think in the show they mentioned that she was a star of some kind. So I'm assuming that the tabloids and stuff is what they're talking about.
I must have missed that because I had no idea. It's obviously a very beautiful and large house, and they may be someone of note. They mentioned how well she does compared to him being a 15-year NBA star, which says something, I would say. But I don't know enough about who she is as a character to why it would be all over the news. But apparently it was.
Yeah, TMZ.
TMZ covered it.
So the aunt, the 2 sisters, and baby boy are all in the den, and they're talking about how they haven't seen her in 2 weeks, haven't heard from her, right?
Yep. Oh, no, 2 days.
2 days, sorry, 2 days.
Time to call the police.
Yeah, and so baby boy calls the police, and can you give us a description? And he goes into this. This is the first time he uses the word shade, I think.
Oh, okay. I wonder why he said that earlier. He says shade. What's that slang for?
Ooh, in your face. Ooh.
Dumb.
You got served.
Why can't we just use cool and sweet and wicked?
I don't know, but Kenya comes back, and she's got the big brimmed hat and sunglasses on, and they're like, "Oh, we were so worried about you," and she takes off her hat, and her lips and her cheeks are huge. It's disgusting.
This is a very bizarre part of the show.
This was the scariest part of this thing ever. I jumped when I saw it.
Okay.
It was gross.
I know every time that we do a Couch Pilots episode, we put what genre it's in. So I would put comedy for this one, but you're telling me you added horror to it.
Oh, it had to have been horror.
There's no payoff for this. She comes in, her lips look like they've been, like someone put some M80s there and they exploded. They look massive.
But it was like we have to have a reason why you were gone for 2 days. Why didn't they just like I decided to go?
Yeah, I took a trip.
I went to the beach.
Yeah, maybe I went around the house and was just filling them with helium balloons or putting random things in drawers throughout the house.
Sure, just
why not that?
What if I went to the knife guy and having him made me a custom wedding knife?
Thank you. The next scene that she's in, all that work is gone. She looks regular again.
Right,
they never really explain it.
There's another hair commercial.
Before that, yeah, but I will say too that after the plastic surgery, the auntie gathers all the sisters and the gay friend together. And they have this little conversation. And here it's revealed that the youngest sister, Adrienne Ray, Megan in the show, she's the half sister.
Okay, I forgot about this.
She's the half sister, and so she kind of
because they start bickering with each other.
And there's a lot of bickering, unnecessary bickering, and changing of subjects to things that don't pertain to what we're talking about, just to add a little extra drama.
Very Housewives.
It really does.
Yes.
This is a scripted television show that Kenya Moore wrote, but it plays a lot like the Housewives show. I would imagine like a bickering reality TV show with people who have nothing else to complain about.
And so Ray is they have the same dad but not the same mom.
Right.
And I'm like, that's probably why she's prettier than the rest of them.
Amen to that. Then you got the commercial again. This is the third time we're seeing the commercial, and here I'm thinking, why are we? I've almost cemented the idea in my mind that this is real, and she's definitely playing it for herself,
for promotion. Yeah, I mean, if you spend all that money to film it, direct, and all that stuff, and to get these actors that you might not have paid, we don't know for sure,
right?
And you shopped it around and nobody would take it. You have to get your money's worth out of it somehow. So use it as a promotional thing.
I changed my tune later, though. I'll tell you the next commercial. I think something differently after I watch it, because we will see that commercial once or twice more before this is over.
7 times total in the 28 minutes.
Kenya is fixed. Her face has been fixed, and she's at a place called like Hot Shave or something. Or Hot is it? What is the name of the place?
I don't remember what the name of the place is, but it was with the Jamaican girl Cece.
Oh, I didn't realize that was her name. They sold plants there. It was a very bizarre kind of shop.
Right, because she picked up her hair care products, too.
Right. I think she when Kenya walked in, again, completely fixed from whatever plastic surgery debacle she was in the previous scene, the Jamaican woman who I guess is working the store or runs the store.
She was annoying.
She was the
horrible.
worst. She was the worst.
It went from an Asian to a Jamaican accent back and forth.
It was
like
awful.
When I do a character on IBWIP, that's what it's like.
Oh, my God. Oh, geez, you're really putting it in perspective. It's kind of talked about here that Kenya has made a fortune on her hair products. And this is, in my mind, where it switches. I'm starting to connect things from her fortune in the show to the commercials we've been seeing to this scene. And so the Jamaican woman's like, hey, what can your hair products do for my hair? And her hair's all nappy and disgusting.
Oh, it's horrible.
But it's a terrible, terrible accent. It's a highly annoying character. And thank God Henry shows up. He's been searching Kenya out, and he finds her in the store. And he's like saying, hey, I got to get you back.
Right. Baby, listen. When I was in the NWA.
Yeah, okay.
I had all kinds. I had thousands of women.
I had ass to the left of me.
I had poontang to the left, poontang to the right. I had black girls, white girls, tall girls, short girls, Asian girls, even some midgets.
Even a few midgets, yeah, that's right. Okay, let's put the brakes right there. You like to say all the time how much intercourse you've had.
Yeah.
Straight. Midget.
No, never had a midget. I had a really short girl, but not a midget.
Midget comes up to you and says, hey, dirty deeds done dirt cheap. Are you down to clown?
Am I married or not married?
Well, you're not married.
Okay. Oh, yeah, definitely.
Definitely. And is it just like when Mute Jacob was going to sleep with that girl with singular sclerosis? Because
it's the story.
It's a story. It's perhaps a check off a list you didn't know existed.
Sure. Definitely.
Okay, so that would be for you.
Right.
Okay. I completely concur.
You agree?
Oh, absolutely. The groom is back. He's saying, hey, you know what? I do want you back so bad. Kenya says, you know what? I can't really. I can't
want you back.
This show is built on the back of his songs.
Kenya, I want you back. I want you back, girl. Do, 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 do.
He fails. He fails at getting her back. She kind of blows him off. And then the Jamaican lady is loud and awful some more.
And very important, she's like, what's that smell? Kenya goes, what's that smell? He's like, baby, that's my new cologne. You like it? And she literally, on the screen, bends over, in shot, and throws up.
Yeah, very bizarre. Very bizarre.
Very bizarre.
Next scene, Robin is having trouble at home with her husband. And again, she's kind of, every scene that she's in, she's driving home the fact that she's kind of like a weird black, you don't see a lot of black hippies. But she's kind of a hippie, new age, organic lady.
Sure.
And she's on the phone to her husband, and it's very clear that they're having problems. And Kenya comes in, and she talks to Robin about the problems. And this scene doesn't fit anywhere. This is I know it's laying groundwork for the characters, but there's a momentum that this episode has with the wedding and trying to get to some sort of temporary resolution if the series were to go on. But this is a weird shoe-in of Robin, I feel, with her troubles at home.
Robin is a horrible actress.
She's terrible.
I mean, literally, she is a horrible actress during this whole thing. She's probably a friend of Kenya's. That's why she got the part. Again, laying the groundwork. But I think the only reason... There's two reasons why this scene happened. Mm-hmm. One is to lay groundwork for her backstory.
Sure.
Second was somehow Kenya has got to see the videotape, right? So you got somebody has to present her with it.
Yeah. Earlier in the show, wedding's about to happen. Megan comes in. She's videotaping things. She sets it down, forgets to turn it off, and videotapes the events of what led to the stabbing attack.
Sure.
And I don't know, this scene. I guess it does build a little bit for the climax of that episode, but it just felt shoehorned, and maybe it felt like that because Robin was such a bad actress,
right? I think it was that she was a bad actress because it also ties into the end where
the climax, right? Of the show, yeah, absolutely. No, come on, that is not. That's not what I meant. Every time I say climax, you do that. You're doing it again. Oh my god! Then you get the commercial, the same commercial again, and I'm thinking, okay, verbatim, it's the exact same commercial. Kenya on this show is rich from these hair products. This is a weird commercial for her show. This is a meta kind of situation where we're watching a commercial about the actress.
No.
That's what I thought at this point.
No.
That's what I was thinking. No. Okay. Next scene, you're in the kitchen of the house. The gay guy, I think his name is Brian. They call him Baby Boy. And he comes in, and I love this because I love, Medea? You know Medea? Tyler... what's that guy? The guy who creates all those black movies that are terrible. He dressed up like a woman.
Mama.
Yeah. What's that? Tyler Perry.
Okay.
Yeah. He says, hello. Brian comes in and says that, and I love it. I love hello. I love hello, and I love turlet.
I love gay guys, flamboyant gay guys in sitcoms.
They have no place in this world, but they do on sitcoms.
Okay.
Well, flamboyancy, come on. Tone it down a little bit, right? Just like the pachinko machine, kick it down a few notches.
That's true. But that he was one of the main parts of this that I liked.
I agree. I do like him on here. He comes into the kitchen, and Robin is cooking.
And he's right. He's only in the show when he needs to be.
He's sprinkled in.
There's not a heavy, hey, all the time.
Yeah, and that's good. That plays to his advantage, I think. A little goes a long way. He comes in while Robin is making some sort of hippie chili or hummus thing, and he starts talking to her about
his colon.
He says, "My pooper is all clean," and I'm thinking, "Oh, I don't need to hear any of that stuff. I don't want to hear about your pooper."
Yeah, you can do other gay jokes.
Yeah,
not all gay guys get their buttholes cleaned and their colons cleaned.
Yeah, I know a lot of gay guys. Most of them don't.
Right. They can't afford it.
It's people go down by the 99-cent store and buy themselves a toothbrush like everyone else.
So then the cut over. Are you done with? I mean, Aunt Flo comes and makes good chicken.
Yeah, she throws the food out and says, "What is this garbage? Find me some chicken."
Yeah, everybody got chicken.
Yeah, everyone's got chicken.
Stereotype. And what do you call when there's a stereotype in a show of African Americans made?
It's self-hating African Americans.
Okay, it is. Is it pandering to the white people?
It's pandering to their own people.
Okay.
Yeah, because when they say it, it's not racist.
Okay.
Kenya views the video camera then, and she sees that her sister didn't sleep with Henry, and it seems like a very big reality show wrap-up right here.
Right.
And then Robin reveals that she's separated from her husband, Josh.
And lost the house and gambling debts.
Yeah, and says, you know what, Kenya says, you know what, I want you to move in with me, as however long it takes to get your back on your feet. And then it turns out that all the girls will be living together under one roof, setting the stage for the rest of the show. And, oh, surprise, surprise, Kenya is pregnant.
And the aunt is like, oh, because you's pregnant, what are you going to do about Henry? Because you's pregnant. And she's like, what do you mean I'm pregnant? She's like, you's throwing up. Yeah. You cranky. Mm-hmm. You went after somebody with a knife. You barfed all over some guy's shoes.
She says, well, I haven't had my period in 4, 5, 6. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and then they start hugging.
Yeah.
When does a pregnancy announcement of that type get hugs? If we had the time, I would tell you about when I announced my first child's pregnancy.
Wish we had the time.
There was crying. This is just crying by everybody. There was no, hey, this is great.
I bet if we cut out the part where we talked about Molly and the boxes in this show, we would have time for it.
Not going to do it.
You don't like that?
No.
Oh, jeez. Sorry. Wrap it up with a little narration at the end. Mm. Gay guy Brian jumps in on the narration. They have kind of, again, another little meta conversation about how he's doing it. Whatever. It's over.
Yeah, it's over.
It's over. Show's over. Plenty of opportunities for turbulence. Let's talk about that right now.
Please remain seated as we are now crossing a zone of turbulence.
She says it like it is. Zone of turbulence. I'm sorry. I kind of stepped on your toes. The turbulence section is something that we don't necessarily like to do. I mean, we don't like to point out why things suck.
No, and sometimes we have a lot to work with in the turbulence section. Sometimes we don't.
Sometimes we're like, no turbulence. Go to the next thing.
The fact of the matter is, all of these shows had one episode and something somewhere, and maybe it's a multitude of things went wrong, and that's what we're here to talk about.
Sure.
Why don't you think Life Twirls On? Besides the name of the show, why don't you think it worked?
To be honest with you,
yeah,
the name. But also that it was funded and everything, and ownership was of all of hers. Mm-hmm. I think if you take that to a network, most networks are like, and mostly knowing that she's from Real Housewives, and they're going to look at that and go, because she's walking into those meetings and she's like, I own this. This is mine. I paid for all of it.
Right? She could have been asking for too much.
Very much so. Because to be honest with you, I mean, do I watch a lot of African American themed television shows? No, I don't. I'm going to be honest.
Yeah.
So I don't know a lot about what kinds there are out there in comparison.
Right.
But I really think it has a lot to do with Kenya saying this. It's going to go this way, or the And so I think she
writer, director, creator of the show, stars in it. She's a complete
control. On the credits. It's just going to have her name over and over and over again.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I just don't think that if I was an executive, you can sniff her out from a mile away.
You're right. She very well having that much control over it, and who knows how those meetings went. If there were ever any meetings with people to say, "Hey, would you be interested in this?" Who knows how those went? Right. I can only imagine she probably had maybe a little bit of a complex when dealing with this, and was maybe demanding too much or saying, "I want to retain X amount of control." And a lot of those channels don't want that.
The points on the back end. She's probably asking for too many points on the back end.
Probably so. We all love that back end, right?
Oh, I love the back end, Ray.
I really could see this playing on like a Bravo or a BET, one of those black-centric channels. And it's not a race thing to say. It's true. There are channels that are more themed towards black people. Sure. And I really do think this show could have played on one. I think it was shot very well. Everything looked clean and well lit, and I could understand everything. It wasn't someone that made it in their backyard with crap equipment.
Right.
It was made well, if you ask me.
She had the money.
She had the money, but just because you have the money doesn't mean that you're going to get a quality product.
Look at us.
Look at us.
We have a quality product.
Right.
We have no money.
That's absolutely right.
We barely make the $20 payment every month for this show.
I had to choose this month. Do I want to eat or do I want to do Couch Pilots? I made my choice. I live with it, right?
Yeah.
I'm looking gaunt.
Makes me feel bad.
Oh, Jesus. What would you have done to improve this show?
Not made it.
Yeah.
No, I think, first of all, I would not have casted the psychologist sister. I don't care if she's Kenya's friend or not. Her acting was horrible.
This show definitely would benefit from some recasting for sure.
I liked the aunt. I liked her in it.
Oh yeah,
Big
she might be difficult to work with, but yeah.
Well, yeah, I liked her. I liked Baby Boy. I liked Leon. You know, I guess I don't know how to say it, but I didn't enjoy it because that's not the kind of lifestyle that I'm in the middle of.
You're not the demographic for Life.
I'm not the demographic.
That's right. Yeah, I agree with that. Let's take us in for a final descent.
Ladies and gentlemen, as we start our descent, please make sure your seat backs and tray tables are in their full upright position.
IMDb says 3.8 from only 25 ratings.
Only 25 people saw this on Facebook.
Well, I'm sure much more saw it, but those are the only people that are rated on IMDb. Critic reviews, Angela Wilson from Vibe says, Kenya Moore's Life Twirls On is unintentionally funny. There's parts that are supposed to be funny. It's largely kind of a silly drama. And only a half-hour drama, too, which is odd. But I guess I wouldn't want to watch this as an hour. That'd drive me nuts.
Oh, and I wouldn't make it.
But I get it. Unintentionally funny. I think there were some parts where there was, like, again, with the bad acting, you would say, oh, it's supposed to be dramatic here, but it's silly.
Right.
Viewer reviews, Life Goes Flat, 1 out of 10 scars from Marcus Soasabi from the United States of America. This wasn't a sitcom. It was a gimmick by Kenya to try to prove that she has acting abilities. The only scenes were literally a couple of minutes that were shown on Real Housewives of Atlanta. If you want to see a narcissistic person in action, watch Real Housewives of Atlanta episode where she is filming the first show. All I can say about the show is enough screaming already. How about some acting? I feel like she's trying her best to recreate her version of Living Single. Living Single, are you familiar with that?
No.
That's a black-centric show from the late 90s, early aughts. Living Single has already been done and doesn't need to be recreated. A credit for IMDb should be an actual series and not a trivial crash and burn. Or a trial crash and burn, rather, I'm sorry. A mix between a work of horror, watching the bride, Kenya Moore chase someone around with a butcher knife, and comedy, being a bunch of her friends trying their shot at dry humor, just didn't cut it for me. Not bad. 1 out of 10 scars.
I'm not gonna disagree with too much of his stuff.
Marcus Soasabi, God bless you. We're landing.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to FCF Airport. Local time is 11:11 and the temperature is 69 degrees. For your safety and comfort, please remain seated with your seatbelt fastened until the captains turn off the fasten seatbelt sign.
Life Twirls On. We got to rate it. We have to. We rate everything. But we don't come into the show and say, hey, remember that show we watched, Life Twirls On? Boom, here's the rating. No.
Sorry.
No way. We can't do it. This is what we do. We bantered, right?
Huh?
We gave you the interesting facts. We put you in the mind frame of the show. We told you what someone involved with the show had to say about it.
Right.
We broke down the pilot. We told you the critic reviews. We told you how to improve it. Now it's our turn.
That's a lot of work.
Oh, it's so much work that I do. I neglect my job. I neglect my house. I neglect my daughter.
Yeah.
I neglect all those things for the sake of our
Do you neglect your love life?
Absolutely. My left hand is completely calloused over because I've been neglecting my life. To properly rate the show, we have to come up with a rating system, and we take it from the classic 90s television show Wings. We take all the main characters. We put a number associated with them, from the best character being a Brian Hackett at a number 7, all the way down to the terrible Roy Biggins at a number 1. Captain Philip Ressisher, I turn to you. How do you rate Life Twirls On?
We give it the Ray bump, obviously. And again, like you said, we're not pandering to her because she got back to us. Like, she was the most attractive, and she was pretty, and she wasn't a horrible actress at all.
No, she was fine. She did a good job.
Yeah. So, but she, we always give a bump of some kind. Usually, if it's warranted.
Mm-hmm.
Kenya really did seem like a very self-centered person, even in this show. I'm not. It's not my demographic,
right.
So it's really tough for me. I'll give it a 3.
You give it a 3. And that's with the bump too.
That's with the bump.
Yeah. I didn't hate this. I think that critic had it right. Unintentionally funny. It does to me help just a little bit that someone from the show reached over to us and had something to say. I'm gonna go right down the middle on this one and say a 4.
Okay, I'll accept that.
I think it was shot well. The story was not very good. The acting wasn't great. There were some good things about this show, and I think this is definitely a program that could have continued on in some form. Whether it was a web series or whether it was on Bravo or BET, something of that nature, this could have existed, I believe. There is an audience for this show.
Definitely.
I don't know for sure. That's why it wasn't in the interesting facts section, but I think it was probably Kenya Moore's own fault through whatever meeting she did or didn't take because of what she was asking in relation to this project she created.
I definitely agree with you. She was her own worst enemy.
I agree with that. Well put. Well put.
Thank you.
And with that, we close the book forever on Life Twirls On, never to be mentioned again, but we're not done. Please join us next time when we watch the pilot episode of The New Big Ball. Here's a little something to wet your whistle. A surreal game show starring Neil Hamburger, described as a mix between a Japanese bizarre game show and The Price is Right. You can find the entire episode by subscribing to Couch Pilots in iTunes or your favorite podcast app of choice, and then click on one of our classically blue links in our show notes, or go to YouTube and search The New Big Ball. I would not go to YouTube and do that because testicles are sometimes referred to as balls, right? And if you were to start Googling balls out there, who knows what you're going to get?
Right.
Subscribe to the show, Couch Pilots. Click on the show notes. The New Big Ball is going to be in there.
It's at the bottom of the show notes for this episode.
That's right. And so you not only, like you said earlier, are you going to get the current episode that we're talking about so you can watch and be in on the jokes and the fun, but also the next one so you can be prepared when that episode comes out. The New Big Ball on YouTube, or more importantly, in our show notes. So check that out. And if you have anything that you want to say to us, check us out on Facebook at Couch Pilots Podcast. Go to Twitter, and when we reach out to the stars, you'll be first in line to see how they respond at Couch Pilots Pod. Or send us an email at couchpilotspodcast@gmail.com if you got any suggestions or ideas. Sometimes people will say, hey, have you heard of this pilot? And you know what? No matter if we heard of it or not, you're getting some frequent flyer points.
Oh, definitely. And that's something we need to remember. A lot of podcasts say, hey, we love fan interaction. We back that up with a guarantee. Frequent flyer points, as they accumulate, you can earn surprise prizes, aviator glasses signed by us that we used.
Yeah.
And in some cases, some people cash them in or actually take a flight with us and watch a pilot with us.
I know you're not much of a video game guy, right?
No.
You can play PlayStation or you can play Xbox and you get like a gamer score. You unlock things or do something and you get all these points or these trophies depending on which platform you're playing. They don't add up to anything.
No.
They add up to exactly zero. It's just a quote-unquote badge of honor to display what you've accomplished.
Sure.
F that in its own A. Frequent flyer points add up to something. You will get something.
We have a special, there's a possibility for a special holiday surprise prize.
Right, absolutely.
I mean, for those who interact with the show.
Yeah, absolutely. You never know what you're going to get. Maybe you're going to get a signed rotting pumpkin from us. Maybe you're going to get St. Nick's underpants, slightly soiled. You don't know what's coming in the mail. Cash in your frequent flyer points. They add up to things.
Cash.
Yeah, you could literally get some cash from us. It may be foreign currency that either is now defunct or has little to no value, but you may still get cash.
Right.
So do that and so much more by going to fcfnetwork.com, where you can take a look at all the families of shows here on the FCF network, including Sex with Heather and Drunken Lullabies, IBWIP, Low Blow, S&M, IBWIP, all the great shows, all free on this network. They all come out for the most part every week or so. Anything else you'd like to say to our frequent flyers before we sign off?
No, I just, the best way, if you enjoyed your time tonight, if you're a first-time listener, please subscribe to the show. If you're a long-time listener and you're enjoying the show, you have to tell people. I mean, we struggle. We can't spend 24 hours a day on social media just to try to barrage everybody.
We would love to do that, but we don't have the time.
No, we have flights. We have to wash this thing.
Does it wash itself?
Nope.
You think Air Force One? Maybe it does. I don't know that. Maybe it does wash itself.
I mean, he said he was going to send over the PDF of the manual.
Perfect. I'll take it. We'll take a look at that and report back. This pilot may have been rough, but it's always a smooth flight here on Couch Pilots. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you next time.
Love you.
On behalf of Couch Pilots and the entire crew, we'd like to thank you for joining us on this trip, and we are looking forward to seeing you on board again in the near future. Have a nice day.
This has been a Fakakta Comedy Funhouse production, produced by Jason Tosher, executive produced by Blake Clayton. For more information and content, go to fcfnetwork.com.